I'm gonna do a little visual for the March 3rd election because I think it's kind of confusing. It is both the party primaries and the general election for the nonpartisan seats. So when you go vote on March 3rd or early on February 17th, you can either get a Republican ballot, a Democratic ballot, or a nonpartisan ballot. Now, the Republican has party primaries. The Democratic one has party primaries. All of these are going to have the same nonpartisan races. And so if you want to vote for Hallie Schaffner, you need to get a Democratic ballot because she's in a Democratic primary. That's going to be on this ballot. Also, the judicial races and the school board. Those are going to be on every single one, okay? And that is the general election for those things. The primaries are determining who's going to be on your ballot in November. Now, in November, you will also get to vote for Hallie if you want to, and whoever wins the Republican primary for Senate. They will both be on the general ballot in November. These judicial seats, they will not, because this is the general election. The only way that would happen is if there were a runoff, but there's only 2 candidates in that Supreme Court one. Some of these circuit court races, I suppose, could have a runoff in November. You only get to pick one of these things in the party primaries. In November, they're not going to say, hey, are you Republican or Democrat? You're just going to go in and say, hey, I want to vote. And they're going to say, thanks for voting. Everybody gets the same ballot. The new rule that I referenced really only impacts people who are registered as Democrats in Arkansas, but were trying to vote in the Republican primary. Why would somebody do that? Well, maybe if their state representative seat was going to be determined in a Republican primary because maybe there was no Democratic candidate, maybe they would want to vote in that to have a voice in who their representation is. And that's totally fine. But now that's not allowed. But it's a small amount of people who are registered as Democrats. Usually you're registered as optional and you can pick whatever. For this particular election, I don't see a benefit. If you typically vote Democratic, I don't see a reason for you to vote in the Republican primary. I want you voting in the Democratic primary because we have important races over there too. Turnout is already incredibly low, and let's be real, in Arkansas, it is more Republicans who are voting. So we want some people voting in this primary, and that sends an important message that we are still involved and we want to be a part of this process.